is watching you for the first time, any good thing about Zambia that they should know, even a place they should visit when they're checking into the Kaunda International Airport? Yeah.
Well, first of all, Zambia is a very peaceful nation. Zambians are loving people. You can't walk a mile without having a Zambian smile at you. Even if they don't know you, they'll still smile and say hi.
How is Ugandan music faring in Zambia? Then you'll how is Zambian music faring on the African continent? What are you exporting? First answer the Ugandan thing, then answer the Zambian thing.
Well, with Uganda, to tell you the truth, currently Ugandan music is not faring well. It's pretty difficult to have a Ugandan music playing here if it's not exported here. That is the thing. So, in the first place, you find that if there's any Ugandan artist that is known in Zambia, I would tell you it's Eddie Kenzo that made all the headlines and stuff like that. But then after one or two hit songs, and it was like he went quiet. None of his music was exported or imported here in Zambia. So you find that if you mention Eddie Kenzo, people will only talk to you about one song. If it's not that, at least they know exactly. So at least people in Zambia know the Ghetto Kids now. I would tell you that from Uganda, Ghetto Kids are more famous than a Ugandan artist. That is just one true fact.
Right? Okay. I think the Bantu migration worked well.
It really did. It really did. So, Mugone Bueno is good night. Mulibwanji is how are you?
Okay. People from Zambia, Mogole Bueno. Mogone Bueno. When you say Mogole, is means bride. Mogole. Yeah. Mogone Bueno. Right. How are you doing? Hopefully you're very okay. My name is Tinta. Welcome to the Tinta Zambia show. And I'm with my guest, Professor Lance. We're here to talk about what is trending in Zambia, what is making Zambia be Zambia. Yeah, man. We're going to be talking the politics, we're going to be talking the music, we're going to be talking the lifestyle. You know, I've moved around in this place, I think Roma and the city. I've seen very many things that I think we need to cope at home. But before I go anywhere else, I would love you to say hi to the viewers, then we start from there.
All right. Hi. Welcome, of course, to this particular broadcast. My name is Lance Sanibanda, but obviously popularly known as Professor Lance, who is a media personality, a TV presenter, as well as also a radio DJ, plus with quite a number of things that I do. Obviously, corporate and events emceeing, as well as an activist for a betterment of people that are living in abject poverty, and also just pushing one or two things. There's quite a lot to be talked about when you ask about Lance or Professor Lance as a brand.
Let me ask, did you derive the name Lance Banda from the president? Banda?
Not really. It just... Well, so Banda is actually a clan that is coming through from the eastern part of Zambia. It's called the Eastern Province, and the local language there is Chewa, of which, by the way, our morning greeting goes like Mwadzuka Bwanji. Mwadzuka Bwanji. Exactly. So that's the clan coming from the eastern part of Zambia.
Okay. Since we've talked about the Banda thing, let's first go to the political side. How is politics doing? How are people faring? Because the few days I've spent here and seeing things okay. The roads are good. People are faring. People are having fun. People are enjoying life. To you, what is your perspective of the Zambian politics?
Well, Zambian politics are quite diverse, I would say. The landscape, when we talk about the political landscape in Zambia currently, one would describe it to say it's unstable because there's quite a number of things that are happening in the country when it comes to democracy and when it comes to politics. You find that currently there are only about two biggest political parties in Zambia: the ruling United Party for National Development, which is abbreviated as UPND, and the former ruling, which is the Patriotic Front, abbreviated as PF. So you find that there are so many clashes happening between these two political parties, and the civic space, with the few happenings that have happened, you would describe them to say democracy is kind of shrinking in the country because the opposition is not let to go about their activities. They would apply or notify the police to say they want to hold a mass public rally, but the police will reject their notification. Public Order Act is an act that talks about notifying the police if you want to put up a public rally. So the police does not have say in terms of they can allow it or not, but because of that notification, you find that they are stressed or strained, put by the government of the day, telling them you cannot allow these people to meet because apparently the country is not in good state.
Today I was at the presidential cemetery, and the person that gave us the history of these presidents showed us that democracy is one of the vital and key roles, key let me key aspects that the current regime is really riding on. But when I hear from you, it seems that it's a different course all the way. How did this past president make, and what went wrong? Because right now, when you say the public management order, it is also in Uganda. We also have that, where the police, you ask the police deny. Where did the president go wrong?
Well, the president might have the political will to see to it that democracy thrives. But if you are fighting the battle alone and the people that you appoint don't seem to move in the same route that you are moving, whatever decision that you make will still fall on the back of the president because he's the appointing authority. So the president might have made nice pronouncements that are very progressive in terms of upholding the rule of law and also embracing democracy. But the people that he has appointed are sitting on that. You would be shocked to know that currently what is happening now, there are political parties that would love to mushroom in Zambia, but because of a political hand from a politician from the ruling party, they would go to the registrar of societies and tell them, you cannot register this party, or this person cannot form a political party. If they do, what happens to you is not known. A clear example is of the same former ruling party, the PF. Currently, it's riding on two factions. The other faction, which is the legitimate faction, being led by Nakachindas and the group. And then there's a faction of Mao's Sampa, who is an MP that convened a group of people and said that was a convention. So what happened is that the original PF had asked the registrar of society to produce names of office bearers for the PF party. When the registrar of society did that, she produced the names of the original PF, which is led by Benana Kachindas, and then 2 days later, she was fired. Nobody knows what caused that. Then after that, her acting, the one that was put in as acting, produced another list of names favoring the other guy that convened other people as the list for office bearers. On top of that, there are so many arbitrary arrests of the other political leaders. Zambia has, I think, about over 32 political parties. All these are vying to see to it that they govern the country. But then if you seem to speak different from what the ruling party is saying, then you are considered as the enemy of the state. So it's shrinking.
Okay, the enemy of the state. Usually, if you are the enemy of the state, you're never allowed to be in that country. Aren't you afraid of your life when you start coming up with such a pronunciation about the ruling government, what is going on, who is stealing money, where there's corruption, the bad roads, the currency falling, the debt with China? Aren't you afraid of your life?
If our forefathers, like you mentioned earlier, you were at the presidential burial site. If our forefathers, Dr. David Kenneth Kaunda, was a coward, I don't think we would have been liberated as a country. So there's always a time that at least young men, young gallant people will come up and fight for the betterment of the country. So I'm never scared because, first of all, I know that I have the right to freedom of expression. I have the right to free speech as long as I'm not insulting the president. Nobody can come and say, Lance, you are doing this and that. As long as I'm doing it within the confines of the law, I don't think I need to have somebody to come and intimidate me or threaten me with life threats. So I'm that person that is not afraid because I'm looking at, let's get liberated.
Do you have are you planning to be an MP or a president? Because this day, the way you talk, you sound to be very very political and a broadcaster.
Well, ambitions are ambitions. And if you lack foresight, I don't think you can act on anything. Yet, as of yet, I don't have any ambitions or plans of becoming a president because I know how the responsibility that a president carries. Well, being MP, it's up to the people of a particular constituency that you'd want to stand in for them to decide if you can be an MP or not. But yes, I would say ambitions are there to say one day, at least at some point, I should be in the August House. By the way, our parliament, we call it the August House. So I should be in the August House, at least refining the laws and making sure that the less privileged, get the better conditions of living that they're supposed to get. I do not believe in the standard of life that we have put where we have classes of the lower class, the high class, and the middle class. For me, I would rather we go with Ubuntuism where if you are not there, then I'm not there. So I am because you are. That's what life should be.
Let's drive straight to your job. You're a media practitioner, you're a broadcaster, you're a radio producer, you're a presenter, you're a TV presenter. How is the media landscape here in Zambia? And what does it take for one to be a radio presenter or TV? Then if he's there, how is the payment? How are these media moguls making sure these radios and TV stand?
Well, media is something that I have at heart, Tinta. You would be shocked to know that my actual when I got into media, my first qualification, I wasn't a media personality, by the way. I had a bachelor in aeronautical engineering, so I'm an aircraft engineer. When I went into the media, people were shocked. They were like, I thought we'll be seeing you at the airport. Then I said, no, I think there's a certain change that I want to make in the media aspect. So getting into the media in Zambia is something which is porous. It's not really hard for somebody to get into the media, especially with the landscape that we have where we have certain media houses mushrooming or coming up, and then they fail to plan for maybe 3-4 years of running that media institution with I would still need to, I approach that media house and they'll just audition me, and as long as I'm able to talk and have, a nice posture, then I'll be employed just like that. That's how porous our media is. I believe it's so because of lack of media regulation. We are busy pushing for self-regulation as a media, but the truth of the matter is that we can't regulate ourselves because the people that are owning these media houses are people that at some point, or for lack of a better term, I would say they are selfish people. and these are people that lack foresight. They just want to create a media house or come up with a media house because they heard from somebody to say it's lucrative, or at some point it may be lucrative. So media is porous in Zambia. They pay, my brother, Aish, it leaves much to be desired. If I am going to put a price tag in terms of media personalities, how much they get, I don't know, converting it into Ugandan shillings, but mostly in Zambia, if you are highest paid, you should be getting 5,000 kwacha. Now imagine you are getting 5,000 kwacha, and then you have your basic needs basket, which is running at 9,238 kwacha 47 ngwe, and you are getting a 5,000 kwacha. Where is it going to get you? You are renting a house which you have to pay 2,500 kwacha. You have to buy food. You have to use transport for you to get to your workplace. So the pay is nothing to write home about or with. And then if you're even getting that little, you are even better, because we have people that are getting nothing, Tinta. We have people that are going at least a month, 6 months without getting paid. And then you start wondering to say, how are these people surviving? How is this happening? So it's really hectic to be a media personality.
Okay, it's really hectic to be a media personality in Zambia. We're going to be coming back in a bit, but we're going to be talking about lots of things here on this set. I'm having Professor Lance. Let's media landscape. According to Lance, he's telling me the media is in dire situation, that it needs maybe a savior, needs Jesus Christ or Prophet Muhammad. To you, does the media moguls, the owners, employ more of people that didn't do media, or it is a general problem that even though you did media, even though you did journalism, you'll get a job? It doesn't matter whether you did or never did it.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter whether you did it or not. It's about passion, and it's also about your skills. Remember, I said during the interview to say these people have difficulties in terms of paying the workers, or paying people that are helping them to see to it that that media house is running perfectly. So if you employ somebody that is well informed, it would be difficult for you to go a month or two without paying them, because you are scared that you might get exposed, or the person might take the next necessary step to see to it that you don't go a month or two without paying them. So it goes both ways. Both the professionals and the skilled are employed in the media, and these media owners, like I said, they always lack foresight. I've seen media houses, Tinta, that are operating for years without a budget. How does a business run without a budget? No, in terms of budget, like you budget, this is how the media house is going to run. This is the amount that is needed for day-to-day business movements, as well as also maybe paying of salaries and stuff like that. It's hand to mouth, I would call it. So it's what comes in goes out.
Okay, let's talk about the music. First of all, let me ask this: how is Ugandan music faring in Zambia? Then how is Zambian music faring on the African continent? What are you exporting? First answer the Ugandan thing, then answer the Zambian thing.
Well, with Uganda, to tell you the truth, currently Ugandan music is not faring well. It's pretty difficult to have a Ugandan music playing here if it's not exported here. That is the thing. So in the first place, you find that if there's any Ugandan artist that is known in Zambia, I would tell you it's Eddie Kenzo that made all the headlines and stuff like that. But then after one or two hit songs, and it was like he went quiet. None of his music was exported or imported here in Zambia. So you find that if you mention Eddie Kenzo, people will only talk to you about one song. Yeah, if it's not that, at least they know exactly. So at least people in Zambia know the Ghetto Kids now. I would tell you that from Uganda, Ghetto Kids are more famous than a Ugandan artist. That is just one true fact. When it comes to Zambian music, what are we exporting? Well, Zambian music in the first place has a lot of talent. You find that at least 80, if not 90% of our music is being exported on the African market. This is through obviously digital means of distro. You have Spotify, and just to mention a few. So you find that this music is being exported there, and we have at least about 5 to 8 big names. I would mention to you Your Maps. I would talk to you about Vincenzo, Neo, and of course a number of artists that we are exporting, and obviously collaborating with other African artists and making tours in these other African countries. So Zambia is exporting 80% of its music into Africa.
Okay. Let's dig deep to the ghetto people. We were talking the neighborhood right now where I'm staying, Roma. It's kind of classy, and I think while we're moving from downtown, the town to here, I saw very many kids on the streets. Is it the same way that people are really struggling to make ends meet? And how is the government bringing up proposals on how to help these kids and people that are in dire need of financial help, clean water, security, and other things that people need in their day-to-day lives?
Well, suburbs are a lot in Zambia, or simply put, ghettos. We call them compounds or shanty compounds. We have quite a number of them, and people that are staying there are on the class which I earlier talked about in the interview. The lower class. Now, the lower class, these are people that either have a job or they don't at all. Now, the job that they have is either a skills job or something hard labor. So you find somebody going for work, working for a day salary of not more than 50 kwacha. 50 kwacha, if you know, 50 kwacha can't get you anything in the first place. It's nothing that somebody can survive on, but these are people that are living in those areas. So those kids that you saw, these are kids that are running away from that home because poverty is too much, the levels are so high, and they feel that they can help their parents by going out into the streets and probably ask for 1 or 2 coins from people and then have something to eat. We have people that go a day or 2 without eating anything. Imagine 2 days of hunger, you are not having or eating anything. It's quite stressful. So this is what happens, or this is what is happening. Hence the reason why you saw so many kids on the streets looking dirty and asking alms, also trying to see how best they can get at least a few coins for them to fill their tummies. Now, it is the duty of the government to make sure that it looks after its citizens, both socially as well as economically. Speaking of socially, we have the Ministry of Social, wow, the name is gone. Yeah, and something like that, but we have an institution called the social welfare. Now, this is the institution that looks after the elderly people. This is the institution that looks after the street kids, and obviously looking at the plight of people that are failing to meet ends. The effectiveness of this institution is not to the level that you would be happy about it. So you find that when the Ministry of Finance is presenting a national budget on how it wants to run the country in a particular financial year, they allocate huge chunks of money to this particular institution so that it can see to it that street kids, a few, the elderly are taken care of, and all these other issues. Where the money goes, nobody knows. But it is the duty of the government, and the government, time and again, it tries by all means that these vices are taken care of.
We have talking about the good and bad about Zambia, but I think it's now the right time we should market Zambia. Any good things about Zambia? Because I saw one of the things you do. Should I, guys? I'm sorry. I think there is something biting me here. Are they called Zambian ants?
Yeah.
They are
I don't know where they're coming.
Oh my God! And for you, they are not biting. I don't know why.
We'll come here to Zambia.
Really? Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Someone is watching you for the first time. Any good thing about Zambia that they should know? Even a place they should visit when they're checking into the Kaunda International Airport. Yeah.
Well, first of all, Zambia is a very peaceful nation. Zambians are loving people. You can't walk a mile without having a Zambian smile at you. Even if they don't know you, they'll still smile and say hi. If not say hi, they'll wave. Zambians are peace-loving people. Zambians are naturally people that accommodate any other person that they see. Remember, I talked about Ubuntuism. So, to some degree, Zambians practice Ubuntuism or Ubuntu, where they believe that they exist because you do. Exactly. So when we talk about sites that people can visit when you touch down at the KKIA International Airport, Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, obviously you went to the presidential barrier site. This is a site where Zambia, as the first country, not only in Africa but in the world, that has put together a place where it's burying its presidents. I don't think I've seen that happening anywhere.
Usually,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So all the five presidents, former presidents, being buried in one place, and then you go there for rich heritage information, because you will be told about each president, what they did, what they achieved, and how they got to achieve it. Apart from that, when you go to the southern part of Zambia, which is the southern province, you have the Victoria Falls. We call it the smoke that thunders. It's always a joy and a marvel to see. When you go to the northern part, yes, yeah. Well, yeah, that's where it is. Then also when you go to the northern part of Zambia, this is where you find, I think northern side of Zambia has, if not 7, it's 8 waterfalls. So you have Chibuluma waterfalls, you have the Kaila Rapids, you have Chishimba Falls. All these are heritage sites where you go. When you go there, it's a marvel to see. We